Hello, hello, and welcome back. Welcome back to the podcast, wonderful parents. Welcome back to the Rare Mom podcast. So, I am doing double duty this week where I'm giving you two episodes in 1 week. So, this is pretty exciting because I've got a lot of good stuff that is coming down, for this podcast. And I'm really excited about the things that I am going to bring to the show. So, just a little housekeeping. If you have an interesting story that you would like me to share on a future episode, make sure you go to the show notes, send me an email, give me a detailed list of the story you would like me to share. Of course, I will keep all the names out of it. And I would love to hear your story. Also, if you would like to come onto the podcast and be a guest, there is a form you can also fill out in the show notes on how to become a guest on the Rare Mama podcast. So make sure you fill that out. Come and let's have some great conversation and let's have some fun on the podcast. As you know, that I had Sean Hudson as my guest on a couple of episodes. So that was a great conversation. We'll have a part two. So I will get together with Sean so we can continue the conversation about fatherhood. So, in today's episode, I'm going to introduce a new series. There's going to be several that I'm going to introduce as I kind of roll this out because these are some new things that are coming onto the podcast and on the show. This new series is called Dating Stories. So I think as special needs parents and parents in general that are single parents that are divorced, have children, dating can be a very scary avenue for most of us. I know for me it is. And we navigate it a little bit differently when we're special needs parents. So we're a lot more cautious and we're very careful about who we bring around our kids. Not to say that parents who don't have special needs kids, they are very cautious about who they bring around their kids as well. So all of us as parents, we're very careful on how we proceed as far as dating and relationships. So this story that I'm going to share with you happened back in March. And I decided that I wanted to put my foot out there and date because I hadn't been dating in a very, very long time because I did have one relationship after I got divorced 5 years ago. So 2 years after I was divorced, I was in a long-term relationship that did not work out. So I paused on dating for quite some time. And so I decided, hey, why don't I give it another try? Maybe something will happen. Considering what the dating culture is a little bit scary because there's a lot of shark infested waters there. So I had matched up with somebody, really, really awesome person. We had a good conversation in the beginning and then we started texting and it was just really good. I mean, very, we were on the same page, had the same goals, had the same expectations, had the same outlook as far as what we wanted in a relationship. All seemed good. We set up, when to meet up. So we did meet up. We had an even better conversation in person and it just kind of went, you know, further, and we had gone out again and it was just great. And the we would talk every day and it just seemed like everything was falling into place. So a while passes and he started to kind of communicate with me less and less and started to have some financial difficulty. So, of course, as a giving person that I am, I went ahead and said, is everything okay? Is there anything I can do to help? Do you need anything? I can come by if you want to vent, if you need a shoulder to cry on. I know I won't have the answers to your problems, but if you want me to listen, I will give you that space that you can feel safe to listen. And it would kind of be brushed off a little bit. He would thank me for it, but it was kind of brushed off a little bit. So I would always offer this every single time. I didn't want to feel like I was overbearing. It's because I have a very giving nature. And one of my love languages is to, have acts of service. on top of physical touch. So he seemed like he was really just falling into like a very anxious and depression kind of set in. And so I decided that I wanted to do something nice for him to cheer him up. I went ahead and I knew what his favorite candy was. I knew because he's very big into action figures and loves the movie Coraline. So I decided, I said, okay, I am going to put together like this care package, this box, and I'm going to do something nice for him. So I think I got him like a little figurine of Coraline. He was doing like this weight loss, I guess not really a challenge, but he wanted to get to a certain goal. And because he is a personal trainer on top of that. So he wanted to get to this goal. And so I decided, okay, well, I'm going to give him something so he can celebrate, when he hits his goal. And so I got creative because I spent a lot of time on Pinterest and I decided to do open when letters. And I had done something like that before for somebody else, like a very long time ago, like a few years ago. And so I just sat down in my office, like I'm sitting here recording this podcast, and I wrote 7 open when letters. And it's to open when he needs some motivation, to open when he needs encouragement, to open when he's feeling down, if he's mad at the world, if he has a nightmare, which that one was specific and had specific instructions. And then of course I put his favorite candy, the figurine. I think I got him like a shaker bottle, like a Starbucks gift card. Like I got all kinds of stuff. And I went ahead and I packaged it up and I decided as a surprise I would just drop it by his house and let him and then he can, you know, catch it as a surprise and find it there in front of his door. So I went ahead and sent him a text message and I said, "Hey, I left you a care package by your front door. I hope it brightens your day." I can honestly tell you that I was just being very thoughtful. I was being very caring. The care package didn't get received very well. So the response that I got wasn't till probably 8 or 9 hours later saying that I put a lot of thought into it and he appreciated the thought. However, coming by his house the way I did was uncalled for and it overwhelmed him and never to do that again. And that we are not in a relationship. And I'm sorry if you're hurt, but I don't want to continue seeing you anymore. So just imagine how I felt when you're giving something that's very sentimental and you're doing it out of the kindness of your heart and somebody responds like that. And I know I have told a few of the guy friends that I have, and they all had the same response. They said, "Why would anybody act like that? That is something that is like thoughtful. And if you would have done that for me, I would have thanked you so much and I probably would have continued to pursue a relationship with you." And to this day, I really can't understand how a care package would go so south that way. Now, mind you, I am not one to interrupt anybody's space. And I am one that I put out good because I want to receive good. And I put out the good and I got received badly for some odd reason. So naturally what I did is I went ahead and I sent him a message back and I said, "Listen, my intention was not to overwhelm you or to upset you. I just was trying to do something nice for you. And I obviously realize now that it was a mistake and I'm very sorry." I know 3 of my guy friends said, "You know you didn't make a mistake, right? You know you're not wrong." And honestly, I know I didn't do anything wrong. And On the outside, it might look like, oh, well, I went to his house unannounced. Maybe I should have told him. Maybe I should have called. Maybe I should have done this. But I wanted to surprise him, and I didn't think it would affect him as much as it did. So naturally, I was blocked after that, naturally. And to be really honest with you, it really hurt my feelings. And it really has changed my perspective on how I even want to proceed with dating, even now. And because I had a very deep connection with this person in a short amount of time, and I don't put timestamps on that. When somebody makes you feel something that you haven't felt, and somebody who you were married to for 10 years didn't make you feel that way, hey, you just go with it. However, I can say that that whole interaction and the way that went down, it hurt me very deeply. And it still kind of bothers me to this day. But I've learned to manage and control my feelings because it's not about me, it's about him. And I just have been very conscious about how I proceed with dating now and how I give something sentimental to someone now. Not to say that I will stop doing that, because I won't. It's just sometimes we want to understand when we do good things for people. I'm a good person and I just do good things to people because I care about them. I didn't understand why he had such a reaction to that. And some people have told me, well, probably because he was dating somebody else. And that's probably 100% true. But maybe it's 100% false. Or, maybe he just wasn't ready. And I've come to find out that the second part is true. It's just he wasn't ready. So the takeaway from my story is even though you may have put yourself in a vulnerable state and you go all in and then you get hurt, we bounce back from that. And you know what? Because it's not going to hurt forever. It does get better. And you just have to rip the Band-Aid off and just go back out there and do it again. Okay? That doesn't mean you have to close yourself off to people. That doesn't mean that you need to have this negative impression about men. Because I don't, okay? I don't have a negative impression because what happened is not about me. It's about that other person. And I'm still going to do things nice for somebody that I care about. And I just looked at it as if it were my best friend, I would have done the same thing. Even though she would have been like, oh my God, this and this and this, you're wonderful. And because my best friend is like my sister, like it's 25 years of friendship and I love her. So the takeaway is that not all men are bad. It's just a lot of them are not ready. A lot of them are broken. A lot of them have gotten out of shitty relationships and they project that hurt onto other people. The expression says hurt people is true, because you can't cut the ones that didn't hurt you, because you will bleed all over the person that did not cut you. So who knows if he'll listen to this episode or if he listens to my podcast in general, because if I have one thing to say is that the door's always open if you want to talk, because I'm always here. So that is my dating story for this series and how I'm opening it up. So if you have an interesting dating story, please go ahead and email it to me. I would love to hear it. I love stories. I really do. So thank you so much for joining me on this episode. So make sure you subscribe to the show so you can get the latest episode and you can hear all the good things that are coming down as far as what I have prepared and what I am going to share on future episodes. So thank you, all of you, for listening to this episode, and I will catch you on the next one.